Now that you have gone through the steps to generate your Terrakan multifamily property report, let's take a look at what's inside and break down the importance of each piece of the provided information. After scrolling past the title page and table of contents, you'll see the general property information. Here, we've gathered data from a variety of sources, including city planning, zoning, and assessor data to give you the most basic facts you will need for future reference. On the next page is where you will arrive at the Terrakan scores. With these scores, you can make an informed decision about whether the project suits your priorities. For example, you may be interested in maximizing profit and are willing to take on some additional risk. In that case, you may be willing to accept a lower score in the risk category in favor of a high score in profitability. On the other hand, you may be entering a new area that you are unfamiliar with, and as a result, you may want to prioritize the ease of development and would be willing to sacrifice a bit of profit potential. Whatever your goal is, the preliminary scores will help you quickly determine if this opportunity is right for you. Next up is the neighborhood information. In Los Angeles, as with many major cities, the area you decide to develop can have a make or break impact on your outcome. You will want to know who your city council member is and whether they are development friendly or not. For line items from specific plan down to CPIO, these are city planning zones that could actually limit the scope of your project. You will want to see as many no or none responses as possible here. These will be touched on again in the next page when we review the risk factors. The following 3 lines here are actually beneficial and could provide you with some incentives if your project qualifies. Seeing a business improvement district, opportunity zone, and state enterprise zones here is a positive for your project. As we mentioned on the previous page, each neighborhood is unique and may contain its own unique risks. The number of red flags that appear here are also what play into the risk factor score that was shown on page 3 of the report. If you see yes on any one of these categories, you should consult with a land use professional who can give you more information on the severity of the risk factor, as some can be much more impactful than others. Following the risk factors are some helpful details about the neighborhood in which the property resides. The best opportunities have good schools, good options for transportation, and are close to nearby amenities like grocery stores and shopping. You can see in the amenities table, we have chosen to map out the distance to several nationwide chains that are associated with higher-end neighborhoods. Moving on to page 5 of the report, we provide you with a price history for both the neighborhood average as well as the individual parcel. Take a brief look at the chart and table here to make sure the value has been on an upward trajectory over the past several years. Next, you'll find the buildable area and development budget section. This is where we begin to really get into the value that our Terrakan reports offer. This is information that you would normally have to consult with an architect to calculate, and in some cases can take several days to retrieve. Here, the information is available to you with just a few mouse clicks. Take note of the difference between the current structure bar and the proposed structure bar on the graph. This represents how underbuilt the property is and shows you what kind of potential exists to add value. For this particular address, you can see that we can build up to 20,445 square feet. That's an increase of 15,745 square feet over the existing structure. Below this graph is the estimated development budget. You will notice that there are 3 options presented here. The first option is by right, or in other words, what you are legally allowed to build according to the city's current zoning code. The other 2 options, density bonus and TOC, or transit-oriented communities, represent incentive programs offered by the City of Los Angeles. All multifamily zoned properties in California are eligible for density bonus based on state law, while the transit-oriented communities program is an expanded version of density bonus available to certain properties in Los Angeles that are close to public transit routes. Having this program apply to your property can create some massive opportunities. On the following page, we provide a projection of finished value by varying cap rates. You can use this to see how various different entities would value the project. On the upper end of the scale, you can get an idea of what you might expect to pay for a finished project if you wanted to buy a similar development that was already completed. On the lower end of the scale, you'll see the value by which a lender might value the property for lending purposes. On the next page of the report, we arrive at the final and most thorough portion of the analysis. This table provides a full breakdown of development size, scope, budget, and profitability for the 3 program options described earlier in this video. If you happen to be in a position where you are comparing a short list of properties to pursue, you will want to have at least this final page of our Terrakan report close at hand for each one when making your decision. This is the end result of a comprehensive algorithm developed by our team and years of development experience boiled down to a single page. We have synthesized the process that we use and the calculations that we make for each of our own developments, and we have automated it for use by the entire development community. Pay close attention to a few specific line items such as max units, maximum allowable area, the total development budget, and finally the equity after completion. By having this page for several prospective parcels side by side, you can easily make a decision about which property to move forward with. After you've reviewed your full Terrakan report, simply navigate back to your dashboard and click the feasibility studies icon to access all of your previously generated reports. You'll see that the reports are separated into single-family and multifamily categories. Now you have the power to easily assess a large number of real estate opportunities in Los Angeles without waiting several days for consultants to reply and without having to do any tedious web crawling and calculation. We provide everything you need right here on one easy-to-use platform.